Well, what happened to the mighty British Empire? Long gone, of course. And even to the point now where the poor old sailors have got to go on the wagon, no more booze. Remember the rum ration? I think it was taken away in 1970. They used to get a rum ration. Every sailor got a rum ration. And they could either go, they could be for it, or they didn't have to take it if they didn't want to. If they could, I used to put T next to their name saying temperance, and they would get an extra 37p a day because they didn't take the rum. Most sailors took the rum and they drank it, or they could accumulate it and have it sort of at a big binge at the end of the month. Now that was during the period when the Royal Navy was the Royal Navy, one of the great blue water navies of the world for 400 years, and they drank. Quite often it was actually quite useful because remember the water they carried on those ships in those barrels was sometimes very suspect. Remember, we didn't know much about bacteria and infection in those days. And alcohol, we knew, killed that. So drinking beer or wine or whatever spirit they could get on those ships that were on those long voyages and those sailing ships. And, of course, then going into battle. Of course, they couldn't carry the full amount because you imagine a 75-gun British gunboat out there in the sea. She had 600 sailors on board. And can you imagine the amount of booze they would have had to carry and water they would have had to carry? So they used to find places they could replenish in the Caribbean and other parts wherever they were going, probably to take the cargo from various other ships. Anyway, that was a good old days. Anyway, that's gone because we've all come woke now. We can't drink, we can't smoke, we can't swear. We can't actually say anything or do anything that we really want to. And here in the UK, in America, I'm sure it's pretty much the same to my American colleagues. If you can see this video, let me know because the algorithm on TikTok has changed quite dramatically over the past few days, and I don't know what's going on. I haven't a fucking clue. I didn't post anything yesterday because guess where I was? Yeah, back in hospital. Well, I was back at another appointment in the hospital, and I've got another 2 on Monday, and further, and I'm tired of it, to be honest. I know it's necessary, but God, it's been a year, and it's been a traumatic year for me, far more than I care to talk about, and it just plays on my mind on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it has it's worn me out, to be honest. Absolutely fucking worn me out. I know I'm on here talking to you as friends of mine and people from all over the world, but if you know how it is, sometimes you just get to the point where you go, what the fuck is it all about here? I met a very nice doctor yesterday regarding the lesion behind me. I've got to have a full anaesthetic now to have that properly sorted out. There's been some dispute, although not open, but it was clear that some of the surgeons that have done things, it hasn't gone well, and it's taken a lot longer than anticipated. Now I've got to go in for a full operation on that it'll be under the general anaesthetic, so it'll be actually done in an operating theatre rather than in the side clinics under local anaesthetic. That's beside the point. Got to go in for the pre-op assessment again. That'll be the third one I'll have done in the last year, and nothing's happened. We'll see what's happened on Monday anyway. I've got 2 appointments at the same time. I don't know how that's going to work out. I just noticed here Melania Trump. I think she's rather beautiful, very quiet lady, very elegant, and she's made a film. Apparently it's been monetarised by Jeff Bezos for 45 or 50 million pounds or something. He earns that in about 3 hours, by the way. And he just made 16,000 people in Amazon redundant with AI and all these little robots running around the warehouses now. That's really nice for him. He's what's the world's 2nd or 3rd richest man. I don't know when you've got a billion or more. It's totally irrelevant, really. They live in a world that is totally separate to the people like you and me who are going from month to month, paying the bills and finding it hard under circumstances that are changing constantly. I think the council elections being banned by this terrible government are appalling. We know why they've done it, but they can still spend 30,000 on giving lessons to migrants about I don't know, some fucking thing I read. I couldn't bloody believe it when I read it, but they're giving money towards migrants, helping them on their mental health. Who gives a shit? They're illegals. They should be brought over here, put in detention centres. I've talked about endlessly. Nobody listens to me. And treated with respect, of course, but the very minimum, and not given luxury accommodations and free taxis. And they come over here and they are laughing all the way to the bank, literally. And you and I, the pensioners who are still paying our taxes at 85 years of age and have paid them all our lives and are still paying, top dollar for your rates. And if you don't, you get a shitty letter from the bloody local council. Have you had one? They're really nasty. They don't give a shit how old you are or anything about you. They couldn't care less. But fucking free accommodation for these illegals. Free food, free lodgings, free clothing, you name it, they get it. And they get bloody preferential treatment by the NHS, which is disgusting, by the way. But anyway, I don't know. What's happening with the dollar? Well, the dollar, as you know, is the most important currency in the world, although people keep trying to talk it down. Whether you like it or not, it is still the number one currency in the world. And when I last looked, a pound was buying about 137. Can you believe that? It was only a year or so ago, and it was down to 122. So the dollar is really on a high at the moment. On a low, losing a lot of value. Trump's not worried because it means imports cost more, but exports are cheaper, so American exports more. It's a two-edged sword, though. There comes a point where you got to say something. You got to stop it. Now, what's happening with Japan and the bonds, I don't know. I'm not clever enough, but there are some very good articles here on TikTok from very clever people talking about the bond issue in America, in Japan, because interest rates in Japan for years were very low, and everybody used that. And now suddenly they're selling bonds or something, and the bond, the cost of a bond is now going up, which means if you buy a debt, the amount of money you've got to pay in interest is higher. I don't know how to explain that better than that. I'm not an economist, but I also noticed a live. Here I'm looking at who would have thought gold? I mean, at one stage, gold hit a record of nearly $5,600 an ounce. Right now, as I speak, I'm just looking at a live chart. It's running at $5,133 an ounce. It's gone through the roof over the past 12 months, 18 months. Can it continue to hover up there like that? Well, some people have forecast it could go above 6,000 or even higher. And one or two other people are saying, be very careful. Remember, everything that goes up can come down. And the steeper the upward trend, which is very volatile, it could fall like a rock. The same goes for silver. So be very, very wary. If you're a day trader, and you've probably got a wonderful algorithm going now and a high-performance computer, and you might be making, 50 trades a second or something, and you might be doing very well. But be prepared, because if it drops like a stone, you could lose your shirt and everything else that you own. So be very careful. The gold plunges as Trump hints at choice for next Fed chief. See, all it needs is something from one of the leaders, particularly Donald Trump, the leader of the free world, and gold could come crashing down. So just be very, very careful, particularly to my American friends over in the States. Listen, what's happening with that huge, beautiful armada that sailed up in towards Iran? You've got the carrier, the escort vessels, and undoubtedly nuclear submarines underneath the sea there. And what's going to happen in Iran, my Iranian people? I love you all. I wish something would happen. They deserve better than what they've got. Get rid of that terrible regime that subjugated those people for over 4.5 decades. Time for people to get together and to work it out. And where are those pro-Palestinian protesters when you need them to protest against what's happened to those people in Iran? Thousands executed and killed and slaughtered by the IRGC. Not a dicky bird, you cowards. You dreadful people you are. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be out there supporting those Iranian people. I support them, and my hat goes out to you. To the people in Ukraine, Slava Ukraine, I don't know what's happening here. I don't even talk about it anymore. It's too confusing. And I just wish them well. And I just wish that war could finish too. Nearly 4 years in February. I love you all. Thanks very much.